What's going on, guys? It's your average programmer here, back again with another video. Today we are going to be talking about lists. What a list is a list is a data structure similar to arrays. Now if you watch my last video on arrays, you would get a sort of a gist of what this video is going to be on. But a list is a lot more flexible than arrays. Let's go ahead and create a console project so I can show you what I'm talking about when I say a list is more flexible. A list provides methods, unlike arrays where you have to manipulate the data yourself. A list provides methods that allow you to manipulate the data. And I'm going to show you a few examples as well. I hope your guys' day is going okay. We are going to be talking about lists today. And a list is a generic type, which I'm not going to get into, but that's something I want you to keep in your mind. It's a generic type, which means you can specify whatever data type you want to pass in. You can pass in any kind of data type. So let's go ahead and create a list. Now we're going to say list of, let's start off with an integer just to keep things simple. We're going to call it list of numbers. And we're going to instantiate a new list. New list. Again, of number. Or of integer, sorry. Now the reason it's yelling at me over here, you can see both places, because I need to use the using statement. So you can either type it up here, or if you have ReSharper, which is a neat project, a neat tool that allows you to easily do things, you can press Alt and Enter and then hit Enter. It's automatically going to add the using statement for you, using system.collections.generic. So I'm going to put list. So just as arrays, if you remember, with an array, I'm going to create an array for you. I'm going to say list integers equals new integer, and we had to declare however many items we're going to put in, or we could use object initialization syntax. It would type in different numbers. As you can see, that is how we declare an array of numbers. But a list of numbers, you can do the same thing, but you can also manipulate the data that's in it. Meaning, or you can manipulate the list itself, sorry. Meaning, after you're done, you can go ahead and call list of numbers and call the add method on it, which allows you to add a number after instantiating the list. With arrays, we cannot do that. Once we put numbers inside, we can't change the list. Those are the set numbers that are inside. We can't do anything else. But with lists, we can add numbers after the fact, after we instantiate numbers inside the list. So we can add the number 10 if we want. The number 10 is going to be added. We can keep calling that same method. List of numbers dot add. We can add 45, and we can keep doing that. So that is the biggest difference between lists and arrays. Lists are a lot more flexible than arrays, because you have these different methods that allow you to manipulate the array or the list after the fact of instantiating the list. So I'm going to go ahead, and if you watch my last video again, you can see that we used a for each statement to iterate through the numbers in the list. And we're going to do the same thing. Let me just comment this out so you don't get confused. We can iterate through these numbers. So let's change up these numbers. Let's go 4. Let's go 10, 56, 78, 5, 0, 3. Let's go ahead and iterate through these numbers. For each var you have to declare the data type, or you would put var. I'm going to say number for each number in, and then the array name. Remember, as I said in my last video, we just want to console.writeLine each number. So we're going to console.writeLine number. So each number in the list, we're going to console.writeLine number, which is each individual number in the list. We're going to control F5. We're going to see all the numbers printed out, these numbers over here. So here you go. Let me zoom in a little bit. Got all the numbers 10, 56, 78, and so forth. So let's go ahead and exit out of here. Now, we've iterated through this. Now, as you can see, we have these numbers over here. So we're going to add some numbers. List of numbers dot add. We're going to add 100 to the list. We're going to add one more number, sorry, dot add. We're going to add, let's say, 35. Now we're going to console.writeLine that list again. Should have never deleted that. For each block var number and list of numbers to console writeLine number. So as you can see, we've instantiated this list with these numbers, and we've added 2 more numbers to it. So when we console.writeLine each number, we're going to get these numbers plus these 2 numbers over here. So go ahead and control F5. As you can see, we get the extra 2 numbers, 135, because we added it after the fact. Now, if we were to do the same thing with an array, that would not work, because an array doesn't have methods to add to it after the fact. Arrays cannot be manipulated while lists can, which is why I said lists are a lot more flexible than arrays. You can also do this. There are a lot more methods that you can use on a list. If you take a look here, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see. You've got these different methods and properties. You've got the count property, which tells you the number of items in your array. So let's go ahead and console.writeLine that. So let's count before actually console.writelining it so we know it's right. So we've got 1 object, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we should get the number 8 back. And we're going to use string interpolation to insert this in. Let's say the number of items in your list is, I don't know why my caps lock is on. I turned it off after this. So it's going to console.writeLine the number of items in your list is, and then the number of items in our list, which is 8 because we just counted. So there we go. The number of items in your list is 8 because we counted 8. And that property of the list list gives us the number of items we have in the list using this count property. We can also find, let's delete this. Let's take a look at some other methods we have for this. List of numbers dot. Let's take a look at index of. This method right here, index of. Now this method returns the position of whatever number you pass in. So let's say we want to go for 5. Now remember, we type in 5 in here. Remember what I told you with arrays, that they are 0 based, so they start at 0. So with this array right here, this would be element position 0, position 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing with lists. So we got 0, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to get the number 3 back because 5 is in the index of 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. So again, we're going to get the number 3 back. I don't know what's going on here. So control F5, and we got, I did not console.writeLine it. I'm going to take this, put it in here. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? Let me delete this. Control F5, and we get the number 3 back because 5 is in position 3. Now, let's say we have double the numbers in this list, or we got 2 numbers that are the same. Let's go ahead and include 56 again. So we're going to say list of numbers that add 56. So we've got 2 56s in here. Now to prove that to you, I'm going to comment this out and write a for each statement again. For each var number and list of numbers. We're going to console.writeLine each number. Just to prove to you that I have 2 number 56s in here. So we got 56 over here and 56 over here. Perfect. I've proved that to you now. I've proven that to you now. So and you saw that we took a look at the index of method for lists. So now we are going to take a look at the last index of method. Last index of method. Now what that does is it returns the last index of whatever number we pass in. So we're going to pass in 56. So if we've got 2 numbers that are the same, like in here we have 56 and 56 again, it's going to return the second 56 or the last 56. If you have 3 56s in here, it's going to return the very last one. So again, it's going to return the position of it. So we've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going to return position 8, the number 8, because that's the position of the last index of 56. It's not going to return this one. It's going to return the last index of. So it's going to be this one. So we're going to get the number 8 back. Perfect. We got it back. The number 8. So that's lists for you. And I'm going to show you a more complicated example, more practical example. If you remember my video from or actually I want to go over this, just one more method for you or with you before I go over this more complex example. And it is the remove method. So I'm going to write for each again, a for each statement. Var number in list of numbers. I'm going to console.writeLine everything again. So console.writeLine. So we've got all of our numbers. Now we're going to call the remove method on a certain number. So we're going to put list of numbers, which is the name of our list, and then we are going to call a method upon it, dot remove. Now whatever number we pass into here, it's going to remove that method or that number, excuse me. So let's say we want to remove the number 78. We're going to pass 78 in here. But first I'm going to comment this out just so you know that the number 78 is in here. I'm going to comment this out. So this number 78 is still in there, and I'm going to show you. Number 78 is right here in position 2. We've got 78 still in there, but when we call this remove method on the list and we pass in the number 78, we're going to see now 78 is gone. You do not see the number 78 because we call that remove number on it, but we still got both 56s. Now those are some useful methods that you can use on the list. Those are pretty cool. You can manipulate your list, unlike arrays again, which is again why I said lists are much better than arrays and much more flexible than arrays. Now let's go ahead and start this complicated example I talked about. So we're going to comment, well, I'm going to delete this code. You can keep yours if you want for reference sake, we are going to create a class called car. Now, if you remember a few videos ago, I did the same thing. I made a class called car and I instantiated a few car objects. I made a Ferrari, I believe it was, and I think a Lamborghini. I'm going to write some properties in here. I'm going to write, they're both going to be string, make and model we're going to write. Because those are two properties that a car has, a make and a model. Every car has a make and a model. Model, get set, and don't worry about these get set keywords. That's going to be a completely different video that I'm going to talk about. So let's go back into our program class and create instances of these objects. So I'm going to say var, again we're going to do Ferrari equals new car. We're going to use object initialization syntax just like we did with the array, and we're going to write the make and the model. You can do this with classes as well. You can use object initialization syntax. Let's say Ferrari, spelled that wrong. I think I spelled Ferrari wrong too. Shoot, whatever. You get the point. Model equals, again let's go with 812 super fast, and we're going to create two more cars. We're going to say Lamborghini equals new car. Sorry this is taking so long. I just want to make sure you understand this and the different things you can do with a list. Lamborghini, we're going to write model again equals SVJ as the model. Be sure to end it with a semicolon. Write one more car. Or let's go Aston Martin equals new car. Let's say make equals Aston Martin. Say the model is, I like the Superleggera. All right, so we've got three instantiations of the car class. So we've got three different cars, and each of course has a make and model property. So Ferrari, 812 Superfast, Lamborghini, which is the make, SVJ model, Aston Martin make, Superleggera model. Now we're going to create a new list, and I'm going to show you what we can do with lists. We're going to call it var list of cars. So you can use the var keyword to instantiate a variable, or you can write the actual data type, which is a list, I'm going to say, of the car class equals new list. Bam. So we're going to go ahead and use the add method just like we did with the numbers. You can do the same thing, same exact thing. We're going to add these cars into it. We're going to add Ferrari, Lamborghini, and Aston Martin. Ferrari. We're going to cars that add Lamborghini, and we're going to do Aston Martin too. Aston Martin. And we are going to console.writeLine each object. Well, first we're going to do this. So we've added the list of cars to the list. We've added these different cars to the list, these three cars, Ferrari, Lamborghini, and Aston Martin. So now we want to iterate through them with a for each statement. So for each var car and list of cars. Now here's where it gets a little cool, or it might be a little complicated, but I think it's cool. We're gonna console.writeLine each make for each car. So we've got the list of cars, or yes, we've got the list of cars. Now we're going to take this car, which is each individual car dot, and you can see right here we've got the properties. We're going to console.writeLine car dot make. So for each car, we're going to write out its make. I'm going to Control F5, and here we go. We've got Ferrari, Lamborghini, and Aston Martin. So we've iterated through the list, and we've console.writeLined each. We've printed out each make for each car, which is something cool that we can do with lists. After we've added each car into the list, we can console.writeLine the make, which I think is pretty cool. So that's the entire gist of a list. I hope you guys learned something, and I just want to show you one more method before I end this video. You can clear everything inside the list. So first we're gonna console.writeLine the count. We're gonna use the count property on the list. List of cars dot count. So we should have 3 because we have 3 objects inside of it, and that's what we got. We got the number 3. Then we are going to use this clear method, which clears everything out of the list. So we're going to write list of cars dot clear. Bam. We've just cleared the list. Now we're going to take this count property we've console.writeLine. I'm going to put it after the clear method because the clear method has to be before it in order to clear the object. Sorry about that, guys. So we're going to console.writeLine count now, and let's see what we get. And we get 0 because we've cleared everything out of the list. So that's pretty cool, and I hope you guys understand everything I did here. If you didn't, feel free to watch the video again. Let me know down in the comment below what I could have done better. Let me know what you think about this video, if it was informative. I try to start super easy with the numbers rather than this complex car class and these instantiations of the car class that we did. So that's why I started off with numbers, and then I got to here, which are more practical examples of what you do in the real world. So again, I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button. If you don't understand anything, comment down below and let me know what you didn't understand, and I'll get back to you. I hope you all have a good day. Make sure you stay safe and sanitized. Take care. Peace.